Well, this is Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2011, and it's a little late maybe for most of you. You'll probably see this afterwards, but I wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. And all that means, love one another, take care of one another. And instead of, and again it's a little late I guess to talk about this, going and buying what the corporate structure tells you is cool and neat, let's buy the things that will sustain each other's lives. Let's do the things that will sustain each other's lives. I'll leave it up to your own judgment to decide what that is, but that's really what we need to do this year. Okay? And you'll see that in a very short time. Now, why am I saying all of this now? Because some things have happened that I think are very, very important to know about. And you know me, I don't just say a little message of something that's going to make you feel good. I want to wake you up. I want you to understand what's happening in your world. I don't mean to insult you, but a lot of people believe that things are just fine, that those who are our political leaders are taking care of us, and that they're wrapped in the Constitution and the flag, and everything's going to be okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that as of today, the proof that it is not okay has been manifest, okay? Before I get to that, I want to say something that's in the Scriptures. Flee you to the holy places. Stand ye in holy places. What does that mean? Well, I talked about it before. It means to separate yourself. We've been told that sin is a lot of different things, and a lot of it isn't sin, okay? Those are control issues by people that want to have power over you. What's really important is that you separate yourself from what's going on right now. Separate yourself from the corporate greed, from the materialistic world, from things that are made in slave and sweat camps and communist dictatorships, so that you can buy it cheap here. It means to separate yourself from the corporate environment, to step back and not take part in what they are doing. And a lot of us are blind to it because they don't let us know. We don't see it. But it's there if you try, if you look. Separate yourselves with your loved ones. If you can go to a physical place that's separate from all of this, that's great. Have a food supply, water supply, those types of things I've talked about in the past. We're right here, ladies and gentlemen. We're right here. What has got me to this point where I feel like I just have to come out and say these things again? Congress just passed the National Defense Authorization Act. It is not to fight the terrorists overseas. It is aimed at the American people. They claim that certain groups are domestic terrorists. And you may know about this. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has said that returning veterans are terrorists, that those who support the Constitution are terrorists. It says this right in their documents. Yes, certain gang members, bad gang members have gotten into the military and have learned things there. The military is aware of that. But that's not what this is about. This isn't about going after criminals. This is about political dissent. You see, the people that are in power have stolen billions and trillions of dollars from you in the last few years. President Bush said, and I know a lot of you just think he's so great, but he said, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists. You don't even know what the government definition of a terrorist is. Actually, there isn't just one. There are many. And most of you now fall under the definition of terrorists because you weren't being watchful. Your government is not your friend. With the passage of the National Defense Authorization Act, you are essentially under martial law. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights have been removed. The government responsibility to protect your God-given rights, they don't give it to you, they're supposed to protect it, has now been removed. Okay? Go read the National Defense Authorization Act, and if you don't believe me, go listen to Senator Levin. You can go on C-SPAN, look at Senator Levin, who is one of the sponsors of the bill, and he flat out tells you that this does affect the average American citizen, that the government can now, on a mere accusation, not proof, not a trial, okay, but on a mere accusation by the executive branch, can take you away, incarcerate you, and even execute you without any kind of a trial. That, ladies and gentlemen, is abomination. We fought a revolution 200 years ago against this, and we're just going to step right back into it? We're just going to allow the banks to steal our money? We're going to allow the government, the people in the government who are getting kickbacks from these these international bankers to keep them in power, we are in serious trouble. Now, this goes even further. If you go on when the government has contracts that they want contractors to bid on, they have projects that they want contractors to bid on, there are several places on the web the contractors go. This stuff isn't classified, okay? But a particular one was removed just this week when it was discovered. Yes, the government has been building detention concentration camps for a long time, and now they are manning them. And on the FBO website, FBO.gov website, there was a request for bids with specific information in there. And guess what? These bids were to build and man FEMA camps, all right? Detention camps, in other words. And how do I know that? Because I was in the military for 28 years, and I know what the verbiage is. The U.S. forces, the military, the FEMA, government, FBI, people like that are called blue forces. Enemy is called red forces. It's called Blue Force Situational Awareness. When we did exercises, the blue forces were always our guys on the maps, and the red forces were the enemy. Well, now under the NDAA, and explicitly explained in these contractor bid requests, the government and its agents are called the blue forces, and you, and I mean all of you, every American citizen is considered red. It's right in the documents. You know, when drones are used, how do they know how to target the enemy? Well, part of it is by observation from the pilot, who's, of course, thousands of miles away usually. But it's also done by a thing called transponder information, and the blue forces wear transponders which identify them so that we avoid friendly fire. Red forces, of course, don't have those. So a drone will take out anything, and I mean anything, that it doesn't recognize as a blue force. Okay? That's really critical to understand right now. You have to understand that your government now considers you the enemy. Why? Not because you're a criminal. They're not even worried about the criminals. They're worried about those who are political dissidents because of their awareness of what the government is doing. The banks, again, under government assistance, have stolen quadrillions of dollars from you using junk derivatives that you don't even owe anything on. The Federal Reserve has protected these banks. Do you remember when Bernanke was testifying and they said, well, tell us who the banks are that this? And he says, no, I don't have to. And they've all gone along with it. And now the economic collapse is coming, and they want to protect themselves from being brought up on charges and convicted of crimes. So they've come out with all of these things to call you the criminal. You are the subjects now. You're not free and independent individuals. You are subjects of the regime. That's what this NDAA does, National Defense Authorization Act. I'll leave it for you all to go look it up. But I had to go on record to say that this is the end of our republic. This is it. The president says he doesn't have to sign it because he already has the power. He probably will sign it anyway because they did change it. Again, go look at what Senator Levine said. Levin, I guess is his name. Co-sponsor of the bill in the Armed Forces Services Committee. You know, he said this affects all citizens. It was designed that way. Citizens are the enemy now, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone.